How's everyone doing? This is your Commander in Chief of Arana Nation, and I want to make this promise to all of you. And I am dead serious. I am dead serious. If I get 1 million subscribers by the end of this month, I will go down to Area 51 in September and I'll be a part of that whole Storm Area 51 movement. I will be a part of it. Now I know it's a satirical event and all of that stuff, but I'll still go down there just to see if anybody showed up. And if nobody showed up, then I'll just I don't know, probably go to. I won't try to storm Area 51 if nobody shows up. Now, if people show up, I'll join them. I'll join them, and I'll get to that. And you know what? Those of you who are taking it seriously, I actually don't blame you, and we'll get into that in a second. But if nobody shows up, I'll just go to Nevada, probably walk around Rachel, probably go do some gambling in Las Vegas or whatever. But if I get 1 million subscribers by the end of this month, I will go down to Nevada. I'll go down to the site where they say to meet up at. The Storm Area 51 people say to meet up at it in September on the time and the date. I will show up. I'll show up. Now, for those of you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, there is actually an event that is circulating around on Facebook, which was created for satire, but a lot of people are taking it seriously. And the event states that they plan to storm the Area 51 military base in Nevada. And 1 million people have said they're going to go. I even said I was going to go. I joined the event. I know it's satire. It is satire, but a lot of people are taking it seriously. And people understand. And if you guys have seen what the Yellow Vest movement has accomplished and what the people of Hong Kong has accomplished, what I've learned from those two movements is that when people gather in numbers and they say they're going to do something, the government really has no choice but to listen to them. Because you can get one person, but you cannot get a lot of people in groups. And 1 million people have said they're going to go. And there are many people in that group that are taking it seriously. And I don't blame them. And we'll get to that in a second. But for those of you guys who don't know what Area 51 is, Area 51 is a military base in the deserts of Nevada. Um, they most likely create secret weapons. It was created during the Cold War, and it's secret because they didn't want the Soviets to know what they were building. America was building all sorts of weapons, sorts of aircraft. They were probably building things for NASA. But Area 51 is most famous for the fact that there are a lot of conspiracy theorists out there who claim that it is the home of UFO wreckage and dead alien bodies, which have been recovered by the military. And one famous person by the name of Bob Lazar actually claims that he worked at or around Area 51 and he worked on alien aircraft, or he tried to duplicate. The military instructed him to duplicate alien technology. And he says that he has seen alien technology and all of that stuff. And there are many people there who have said they've seen alien bodies. And many of these people are very reputable individuals. Now, a lot of them are full of you know what, but some of these people have actually said things that have ended up being true. Not the fact that there's aliens there, but they have said little things that seemed outlandish and appeared later down the line to have actually been true. But the military has come out with a statement warning people that they will use force if they do try to storm Area 51. Now, all I've got to say about that is that's total rubbish. That's total nonsense. And I'll tell you why. If 1 million people, and it's more than 1 million people, it's more than 1 million people, if they were to all actually show up at Area 51 and they intended to storm that base, Donald Trump would be stupid, and I mean stupid beyond belief, to allow the U.S. military to kill 1 million American lives on American soil over a base. There is nothing in that base which is worth the blood of 1 million Americans to be shed. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I don't care what is in that base. It could be aliens, it could be weapons of mass destruction, it could be Metal Gear, it could be whatever is in that base. It's not worth the lives of 1 million Americans. And if Donald Trump actually allowed the military to kill 1.5 million Americans who intended to storm a military base over whatever they're hiding in there, and it turns out to really just be futuristic weapons that they're building, and 1.5 million Americans' blood was shed over futuristic weapons to kill people. I mean, I support Trump so far, but if he allowed that, I would not only revoke my support for Trump, but I would actually call for his arrest, and I'd actually call for him to be hanged for treason. Now, if a few people show up and they storm the base, yeah, you'll get arrested. You'll probably be shot. You'll be killed. If a few people show up, yeah, if one person shows up, if Arana Nation shows up and he, crosses the line, I mean, I'm a Canadian, they just shoot my ass, they'll throw me in some river, this damn Canuck nigga, what's he doing? Yeah, bam! That's what they'll do. But 1.5, and I'm also a dual citizen too, so it's still American, but 1.5 million Americans who try to storm a base and they get shot. I mean, when you get CNN showing pictures of millions of Americans being shot by the military, boom, 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 blown up, groaning in pain, arms lost, blood all over the sand, mostly young Americans, mostly young people, young Americans being shot by their military. And then the Pentagon comes out and says, we want to protect Americans, and that's why we have this base to protect Americans, and we will protect Americans from any intrusion. And then people are going to say, so you're protecting Americans by killing a good chunk of your population over that base. That's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. If it does happen, that would actually be the end of America. And I'm being very serious. No, what would end up happening is, let's say 1.5 million people showed up at the front gate of Area 51. What would happen is they would try to restore order in a peaceful way. But if they were really serious, three things would happen. Number one, they would probably try to hide as much things as they could on the base. Number two, they would fake what is on the base. They would they'll put cameras there and they'll fake it. They'll fake it just to appease the crowd. They would try to appease the crowd. They're talking tough now to scare them away, but if they showed up, they would have no choice but to appease the crowd. Or number three, they would just tell people what's in the base. And they would come to the conclusion, look, if Americans really don't care about their security, I mean, look, they say that this base is secret because they're building weapons that they're going to use one day to protect Americans. Now, I've said this many times on Arana Nation that in fact, I would say all of the wars up until World War II that America has been involved with, America has started them. They started the Gulf War, Iraq War. I mean, the Gulf War, yes, Saddam Hussein went into Kuwait. But I mean, America being involved in that, really, what business is it for them? They wanted to protect oil. America has oil already. Why are they trying to protect Kuwait's oil? America only likes Middle Eastern countries that give them oil, and they'll try and tear up countries that hold back their oil. The Vietnam War, they started that. I would even say the Afghan War they started, not because look, with 9/11, and I'm going off topic a little bit, and I'm not saying 9/11 was justified, but Bin Laden said he did it because Americans, they desecrated Holy Land, Mecca and Medina, because of the Gulf War. So, I mean, if we had just kept to our business in the 1990s with the Gulf War, we wouldn't have had a 9/11. World War II we didn't start, but that's the thing. So but let's get back on topic. They say they're building weapons to protect Americans. That's what they're saying. But if Americans really all come together and decide, look, we want to know what is happening at that base. We want to know. Well, if they find out, and then Kim Jong Un or whatever his name is says, "Hey, I'm gonna build that too. I'm gonna build that." Well, and then he ends up using it against Americans. Well, Americans don't have anyone to blame but themselves. You know what I mean? Because they broke the secret. But having said that, I actually support this movement 100%. Not necessarily because I feel that everything America keeps secret should be exposed, but because Americans need to learn that when they come together in numbers, they can do anything. And I also do feel that what's going on, what could be happening at Area 51, I think that Americans have a right to know at least some of the details. Some of the details. I mean, for Christ's sake, we know about the CIA. We know exactly what they're doing. Some of the details. We don't know all of it, but we know some of it. I think that the United States has to be a little bit more open and transparent with its populace. And I think that would actually help the United States as well. And it would tame some of the neocons and the warmongers and the hawks and those individuals who constantly start war after war after war because they have this terrible habit of nation building. Now, if the world knew what was going on at Area 51 and all other bases, and they say, well, now we're ready now because we know what you guys are doing, so now we're ready, we're going to plan for that, then America would most likely, in fact, it would have no choice but to reevaluate its its behavior with the rest of the world. They would have to say to themselves, "Look, we have to stop this nation building habit of ours. We have to stop provoking other countries into war. We have to stop going to war in the Middle East just to take oil. Just because some dictator out there doesn't want to share his oil with us doesn't mean we have to now take him out and destabilize that country. And what ends up happening is that all those people in that country come to America as refugees. We have to stop that. I think it would help America, actually. It would help America. It would tame the military industrial complex. Now, let's talk about this alien thing. It's pretty interesting. Um, I don't think that there are aliens at Area 51, but you never know. You never know. So, for those of you who don't know about the Roswell crash incident, um, apparently back in the 50s, I think, people discovered a wrecked UFO in Roswell, New Mexico. And people say that that wreckage is now staying at Area 51 and there are alien bodies there and all that sort of stuff. That would be very, very, very dramatic if one day we found out that there was life on other planets. And I think there has to be. Even if it's not like gray people or people that look like us, even if it's some animal, some tiger or some dinosaur or something, there has to be life out there. This space is a huge thing. Space is it's unimaginable. We'll never know what space really is. We don't even know if we don't even know about all the other planets other than the ones in our solar system, but we do know that they're out there. We've detected planets far away, and we've actually detected some planets which may actually have light, water, and stuff like our planet does. Way out there. Will we ever get there? Probably not. But one can only dream. One can only hope. I think we need to get back into this space race. I'm eager to do it. But we shouldn't make the mistakes of our ancestors and colonize worlds that are not our own. We need to learn how to coexist. This is the Arana Nation.